In October of 2009, I received a phone call about 8:30 at night to tell me that my son was in the emergency ward at the hospital. When I got there, they directed me to the psychiatric ward, and I thought, they've made a mistake. So I started to spell out his name, and they said, no, that's where he was. So I made it down to the psychiatric ward, and he didn't recognize me, and I was observing his behaviors, and I was shocked. Like, how did this happen? The next thing I had to do was get on a computer and Google search the word schizophrenia. Yeah, I think I was in a state of shock to see the son that I knew so changed. And in that environment, it just didn't make sense to me. I didn't understand why. I thought because they released him from the hospital, he must be better. They don't release sick people, do they? They do. I'm his mom. I mean, my background and training had nothing to do with looking after someone that had a mental health problem. And so there is a great deal of learning to go through. Emotional pain that I don't even think I allowed myself to experience because you're in survival mode. Yeah, it changed my life. It changed my role. I was more than a mother. I became his advocate. So it was many years of taking that journey and feeling very lost, angry, because friends vanished. If he had been someone with cancer, they would have been showing up with casseroles, they would have been supportive, but there's a lot of stigma, misinformation about what schizophrenia is and is not. I was not prepared. The fear, the anger, the frustrations, the loneliness, the financial hardships, the depression, all the emotional impacts that happens to a caregiver and they suffer so quietly with, believing that they're alone. And it was moment to moment, day by day. There was nothing that prepared me for any of that. So from that moment on, I adopted my son because I realized that this was a life changer for him and for me. Yeah. A friend of mine introduced me to the Alberta Caregivers Association. And it was there that I learned about the caregiving journey and I learned the word caregiver. And I was so surprised to learn that there were others like me, and all of a sudden it normalized what I was going through. I was in awe, absolute awe of how far I had come and how much farther I could go. And it gave me strength and courage to carry on, to realize I wasn't alone and there was hope. I think the biggest struggle was overcoming the idea that I should know everything. That if I'm his caregiver and he's my son, I should know how to do all the things properly. I should know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And that's not true. We put that on ourselves. It's a tough one. But the Alberta Caregivers Association, they teach you how to handle that. And the biggest lesson I learned was to take care of me, that I mattered. And that by taking care of me, I made a better caregiver to my son. If we don't take care of ourselves, that we're out of balance and we run out of energy and emotional energy and compassion for ourselves because we've given it all away. But it's the small things that you do for yourself, how you care for yourself, that allows you to have your life in balance. And as a result of that, you're a better caregiver. There were nearly 2 patients in this scenario, but again, I'm so grateful, to the Alberta Caregivers Association for the tools, the education, the support that allowed me to be what I could be for Evan. That today he is the wonderful person that he is. Yeah, thank you, Alberta Caregivers. Thank you.